Good evening, one and all. Welcome back to the LFC transfer room for our pre-match red debates for Liverpool versus Manchester United at Old Trafford, which, by the looks of things, are going ahead. But we're joined by the main man, Mr. Matty Orme. How are you, mate?
Sound. I can't wait to beat these. Cannot wait. Getting fourth, like I've said all season. Everyone's doubted it.
We're also joined by a regular guest of ours, Dan Clubbe. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, sound. Yeah, looking forward to hopefully finally winning at Old Trafford under Klopp. And like Matty says, potentially nicking fourth out of nowhere.
Lads, we haven't won at Old Trafford since I was in year 7. That's ridiculous, isn't it? That's poor, that is. So yeah, if you want to, I'm just dressed up. We can go out for a few beers a bit later. But before we get into it all, lads, we've seen before the game a few protests, but the players have actually got in. So there was a few fears that it wasn't actually going to go ahead. So do you think that will mentally affect the players, Dan?
No, I don't think so. They probably haven't seen a lot of it. They've probably been pretty much in a bubble, to coin a phrase that's been used a lot this year. Straight on the team bus, straight off a team bus and into the ground. They might have heard some of the stuff when they got off the bus, but generally speaking, like if there was fans inside the stadium, as they should be, not like they were the other week, then it might be a different story because it would be properly hostile in there probably. But no fans in. It's just going to be like any other week, I think.
Yeah, Matty, do you think obviously Liverpool actually sent out a decoy bus? We're moving line of duty kind of feels, right?
I off knew to an extent. I mean, sometimes you see them on that red bus, but usually they do go on that Black Ellison's bus. So when I seen the picture, I did think like it could be them, but it could also just be like the squad that's not playing, and they like the travel and backroom staff and that. So I don't think it'll affect them. Liverpool have had worse, haven't they? If you think most of them players have went through worse mental things, like being 3-0 down to Barca. The little protest not going to bother them.
Cheers, Ali. Thank you very much, mate. I will be getting on the beers later. That's why we're going up slightly early. If Jack had actually rocked up and turned up like he said he would, then I wouldn't have to be here. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. What do you think of the team? Obviously, the team hasn't actually come out yet. We've waited a couple of minutes. But do you think he'll go with Reece?
I think so, yeah. I think he needs to. I think because Fabinho has to play central defensive. Has to. There's no other option.
Yeah. Do you not think maybe at Old Trafford, obviously, Reece got a little bit exposed last time with, obviously, Fernandes ran riot in that game, I remember. Do you think that maybe it would be worth putting Fabinho back there, or is there any debate, really?
I think, for me, Fabinho would be the better choice of centre-half in a way, but I agree with Matty in that he's got to play centre-mid, because the control we have of the game is just 10 times more when he's in there. Like, we've got to go and win this game, haven't we? I think, Reece Williams will probably get caught out at times tonight, but we've just got to make sure we control the game, that doesn't happen too often. And a little bit of luck, and hopefully they don't punish us when it does.
Yeah. Has anyone heard any team news yet? Let us know in the comments when you do. Because, and also, get interacting in the comments. We'll read out all your comments and basically have a nice little chat and a debate before the game. Just keep refreshing.
Yeah, we've got team news. Sorry, we have got team news.
What are we going for?
Trent, Reece Williams, Nat Phillips, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Thiago, Jota, Firmino, Salah.
Firmino, Salah. That's interesting. No Sadio
Jota,
Mane.
Firmino, Salah. No, on the bench.
Ooh. How's Ben Woodburn still getting on our bench?
Ben Woodburn on the bench. The injuries. To be fair. I mean, Keita's not there. Davis. Oxlade-Chamberlain's not in that squad.
Really?
Obviously, no Kabak. Obviously. Who else?
No Ben Davis. Back on the bench, though. Kelleher's back.
Yeah, and Origi's on the bench there.
Oh, lovely. What's the is it Fabinho, Thiago, Wijnaldum, did you say?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I mean, I'd rather it be someone else in there, obviously, apart from Genie, but happy days.
I've just seen Curtis Jones in there, against United.
Curtis Jones.
Yeah, he's on the bench. He's back on the bench. So
he's on the bench.
But he played well against United earlier on in the year, so it would have been good to have seen him again. But I think he'll probably get on at some point.
Very, very interesting, that team. I'm surprised Sadio, after scoring last time, he might have got a little bit of confidence. Yeah. But you know what? I'm not against it. That's given me a little bit of confidence, and I might
be started Cavani as well. They've got Henderson, Lindelof, Bailly, Pogba, Cavani, Rashford, Fred, Fernandes, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, and McTominay. They've given Fernandes the captaincy. Wow.
Yeah, he's by far their best player and a leader, so I'm not surprised.
He's barely been there, though, has he? Like, you give it
but it's the same with like Milner. When Milner first came to Liverpool, like he was vice captain straight away.
Yeah, but
Milner's a different story, though, isn't he? He's been around forever. Like
he's won Premier Leagues, and that Bruno Fernandes has won nothing really. He's only won stuff in Portugal.
Yeah, he won the league there. He only won the cups in Portugal. Never won the league.
So how can he be captain of Manchester United? Come on, it's ridiculous.
So back onto sort of.
To be fair though, Rashford's half injured, isn't he? He's been playing with an injury for like 7 or 8 months, so he's not really a big threat. I mean, Cavani worries me against Reece Williams, but
I saw a brilliant tweet from Stephen Drennan earlier about Rashford, talking about how he could be quite similar to Michael Owen, because Michael Owen played a lot with injuries. He had some horrible injuries. It would be sad for Rashford, to be honest, if that happened to him, peaking so early. But we can only judge and see when it actually happens. On to another matter at hand, though. United fans have embarrassed themselves, because I said to Dan before we came on, I was sort of on their side last week, but this week they've completely and utterly embarrassed themselves, the way that they've acted, doing the stuff with the decoy bus. It's ridiculous. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, Matty. But
I don't really know, to be honest with you, because we did do it. We didn't obviously postpone games, but we did protest, like when we had Hicks and Gillette and that, and their owners are as bad as what we deemed Hicks and Gillette to be. So if this is what they seem right to do, then the biggest game of their season, bar the Europa League final, is Liverpool. So they're getting the message across. So you can't really argue with them, but I mean, I'd take the 3 points.
But surely, right, if it was purely Glazer based, this protest, then they wouldn't be going for the Liverpool bus.
Yeah, doing that's stupid. Like, that's just ridiculous. But if we stopped the United bus in Liverpool, do you think that'd just be left untouched? So
just think all over what's going to happen on, like, realistically, when we did the stuff for the city bus. Yes, it was the actual city bus. Okay, but
there's only one bottle of Copperbeer. People blew that out of proportion. It was only one.
Exactly. Yeah, people blew it out of proportion though, because it's Scousers, isn't it? Like, it's the easy way.
It's the easy way out.
Exactly, and I guarantee you won't have the same reaction than that did. But Dan, do you think, obviously you again said to me before the live that maybe it should have been, like, morally should have been given 3 points, but they were never going to do it?
Yeah, I think, like I said, had it been postponed tonight, it would have been a no-brainer. That the points would have been ours. That'd have been it. But realistically, we should have been given the 3 points first time around, because if you can't stage a fixture, the points get given to the opposition. So I understand why they didn't do it, because it's a massive call, like Matty touched upon again there. This is the biggest fixture in the Premier League, so all your broadcasters want to show the match. The Premier League want the game to go ahead. So just to say, nah, United do one, Liverpool get the points, is a huge call. But had it have been West Brom against Crystal Palace, or whatever, there's a very good chance they would have done that. They'd have said, no, Crystal Palace, you get the 3 points. You know what I mean? Why West Brom would have been protesting, who knows? But, the comparison is there. I genuinely believe this game, if it was most of the fixtures in the league, wouldn't have been rescheduled. It'd just been written off. But because of the magnitude of it, you can't just write this fixture off.
No, it's effectively, there's probably one of about 5 or 6 fixtures in world football that were never called off. It would be like a global pandemic would be the only thing to call it off, effectively. But yeah. More thoughts on the team news. The midfield, Matty, what are your thoughts on that midfield? Do you think it's the best one to go for in this situation?
I think it's the only option we've got, really, isn't it? Other than Curtis Jones, there's no one else who can really go in the midfield. Like, Ox isn't there on the bench or anything like that. So it's the best we've got, and it fills me with confidence, to be honest, because Fabinho is going to play Holden. You know what he's like there. And then when Thiago played with Ronaldo the other week, Thiago was world class. We've known he's been world class for ages, but more people are starting to recognise it now. And Genie's a good player. You just don't like him. I think he's world class. He's a legend for us. So.
No chance, mate. He's past his sell-by date, I'm afraid. But I don't know what Dan thinks about it. But
I just think he does. I think he's very good at what he does. And our problem is when we haven't got more creative players in there, we have too many of them players in terms of him. Like Thiago is quite similar to him in a way. He's probably a bit more progressive than him. But I agree in terms of it's a difficult one because he's been outstanding for us. Like he is a Liverpool legend, whichever way you want to look at it. But I do also think it probably is the right time for it to move on. Because I think we just need something different in now. We've seen the industry with Henderson and Milner and Wijnaldum. I think we need something a bit more creative in there now. And it's obviously not Keita because he's just never fit.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously the big news, Sadio Mane dropped to the bench or rested. We don't know. But would you have started Mane, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you touched on it before in terms of the confidence from the goal. Like we've all been saying for weeks, he needs a goal. He needs something to happen for him. It's just not happening. And then he actually scores. And you think, okay, go on then, kick on. Because he's the sort of player that can win games on his own. Like he is world class, again, to use that phrase. He literally is. And he has done it before in the past for us hundreds of times. So, you know, we need to win 4 games out of 4. I would have liked to have seen our best players on the pitch, and he's one of them. Like, as good as Jota's been, you know, you could argue Firmino might have come out for him. As good as Jota's been, I would have started Mane over Jota tonight, and I'd have gone with the normal front three and hoped they put in the performance that we've seen before this season, if you like.
Do you echo that, Matty?
To an extent, yeah, but Bobby is decent against United. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Mane. I think Mane is unbelievable. He's just had an off season. But you never know. If we've got 4 cup finals, we're going to have to rotate the squad if we want to get 4 wins. So it might just be Klopp knows the players better than us. So maybe that is the best 11 to field today. And we've got another cup final against West Brom on the weekend. So Mane's probably going to start that and score again. Maybe it's like 3D chess from Klopp. He's got more chance of probably scoring against West Brom. So rest him here. Maybe if he comes on, grabs a winner, scores against West Brom, then you go into the end of the season with Mane in confidence. Then, so.
An informed Sadio Mane can get you 4 wins out of 4. I think he can do it by himself, as you alluded to, Dan. And especially if he's got a firing Firmino and a superb Salah by him, you know. See, alliteration, boys, alliteration. We love to see it. Reece Williams.
This is interesting though. Lindelof on the left side. That's good for Salah. Because Lindelof, I think he's weak for United.
No Maguire. Maguire gets a lot of memed, all right, but he is their best centre back. But
that's not saying a lot though, is it? Like he is their best centre back, but that doesn't say. I seen that stat the other day that everyone's raving about. You know, he's first in all their rankings. He's played 1,000 more minutes than the rest of them. And he's the best of like a really quite poor bunch, you know. Regardless of what they do tonight, like they're not very good, the rest of them, are they? So, you know, he is the best. But without Maguire, like even with Maguire, I'd back us to get at him anyway. But without him, we've got to go at their centre halves tonight, 100%.
I mean, they're poor at home in the Premier League. You know, they've only won the same amount of points at home as we have this season, and we're getting told they're having not the worst season of our history, and now and United are 7, so they haven't been that good at home, and we've been decent away. So I do think we'll be all right, to be honest.
We talking of centre backs and getting at centre backs. We've got Nat Phillips and Reece Williams there today. Do you think Cavani? Well, he's definitely one of the danger men, but Cavani against Reece Williams scares me. Being honest.
I don't know. He can handle himself.
It's terrifying. Of course, it is.
He's got to put confidence in him. I think, God, it's got to. I mean, Ben Davies,
Yeah.
I just don't know where he is. Like, why is he injured again? There's no way. No way. He's no. It's ridiculous. But I don't know. We've doubted him before. Like, we doubted Nat Phillips, and he proved us wrong. So hopefully, Reece is the same. You know,
it's just a massive call in it because Reece Williams was at Kidderminster last year, and Edison Cavani was at Paris Saint-Germain. You know what I mean? Like and I like the kid. I think some of the slating of him has been a bit unfair because I think he's done all right at times, considering he should be nowhere near the first team. You know, the same could be said for Nat Phillips. He's done really well considering he should be nowhere near the first team realistically. But tonight, Edison Cavani against Reece Williams. If you'd have said that to me last August, I'd have rang someone to come and get you. Like, you know what I mean? That is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Stupid. I feel kind of bad for Ben Davies. I mean, he must have known when he came to Liverpool, like he wasn't going to play.
People we say we feel bad for him. He's probably been on double the money he is on Liverpool now as he was at Preston. He's just chilling, and he's going to go to Celtic in the summer and play where he wants to play. So,
and he appears in a Corn video.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Really, who's the real winner? You know, not him because it's not. I don't think.
If he goes out making a debut, that would be mad. That would be weird. Like, and it looks like he will. Obviously, not playing tonight. 3 games left. Looks like he might be slightly injured. If he never starts, considering how many defensive injuries we had when he arrived, for him never to play would be a bit mad.
Yeah, literally didn't have. He's not even had one chance. Like he could.
He was on the bench. He was on the bench, wasn't he?
So he comes on the bench sometimes, goes off the bench sometimes.
Yeah,
he's cut here and there, stood everywhere. But I think we'll probably play. I agree with Blackhammer there. I think we'll probably play more back 5 with Fab Truman and just to add that bit more security with the 2 of them. But I wouldn't be against that. If it gets you 3 points, I'm not that bothered.
No. As I said, like it is quite. I am quite scared. I think the only way we're going to win, and I'm confident of this, the only way we're going to win is by outscoring them. And that sounds like such a Michael Owen statement. So
yeah.
But it's going to be attack versus attack today.
I mean, yeah, it is. But Reece and Nat are decent in the air, and that's what Cavani's decent at. So
he's more than that. He's much more than that. Cavani.
Yeah, but didn't he played in the fixture? Didn't he play in the previous fixtures and done nothing? Kept him quiet. Come on, was exciting, but he was quiet.
The thing that is in our favour is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taken these games quite negatively so far. Like probably apart from the FA Cup game, he hasn't really tried to play us in the league yet. But tonight he might do, because he might look at them centre halves. He might look at the fact that their season's essentially done, apart from the Europa League, and actually try and play. And that might suit us because we all know when teams sit deep against us that's basically match drawn / Liverpool lose. Like as it is at the minute, we just don't break them teams down, as we've seen, numerous times this season. So that's one thing I think we need to fix in the summer in terms of buying someone that can break them sort of teams down. But yeah, the one positive might be that United actually come and play against us.
Yeah, I agree.
But then that also, sometimes we need the front three to turn up, and they need to be in sync. Salah, Jota, Firmino tonight. We have to score. It's part of me wishes Mane had played. I know we've gone over this already, but we need them to be in sync. We need them to really press well against those centre halves and the fullbacks.
But then I think it's smart to play Firmino, because then if Fabinho does have to drop back into the back 5 to protect Reece and that, then Bobby can drop a little bit deeper as well. Yeah. Where if you started Mane, Jota and Salah, none of them, they can get back, but they're not as good as Bobby in that holding role either. So.
Yeah, those 3 you just mentioned there all want to run the other way in terms of at United's goal and behind the defence, whereas Firmino doesn't really. He wants to drop back and make things happen. So it's a very, very good call that he will get back and help the midfield and be the extra man.
Definitely. Who's the biggest threat for Man United this evening?
Mason Greenwood, if he comes off the bench.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's a decent player, mate. So, and he's fast, isn't he? But I don't know. I've sort of feel we're going to win them today. I think we'll win all 4 games and we will get the top 4. It's just how Liverpool do it. We always do it the hard way, and this is just the start of that hard journey to the end of the season.
It reminds me a little bit of like the treble season, because we were nowhere near the Champions League spots in February, and that was top 3 back then, and we got it because we won.
In Klopp's first season, we went down to the last day of the season. Us getting top 4 might just happen again. So.
Can only hope and pray. Who's United's key man today? Dan.
Do you know what? I don't massively. It's going to sound dodgy, this, and any United fans would hate this. I don't massively rate Bruno Fernandes yet. I think, like, his numbers are obviously ridiculous, but I've watched a fair amount of them, and he's been bang average. So I'm not sure he's taking games by the scruff of the neck yet. Big games in particular, by the way. But having said all that, he has to be their key man because he makes everything happen, doesn't he, in terms of free kicks and penalties? Like, outside of that, I'm not convinced by him, but everything they try and do goes through him. So regardless whether I think he's amazing or not, like, if anything's going to happen, it tends to be via him. So you'd have to pin. And I do think Fabinho could just pocket him and see him out of the game, because I think he's far better than he is, to be honest. But if anything happens, like I say, it tends to be because of him. So it's hard to look away from him.
So you're saying basically Bruno Fernandes is a deluxe Harry Wilson?
Yeah, basically right-footed Harry Wilson.
You take the pens off him though. How many goals has he actually scored this season?
Yeah, I've got in many arguments about this. He's obviously a very good player. There's no getting away from that. But when he first and still has come into the league, there's been like seriously high talk about him, like in terms of comparing Kevin De Bruyne and people like. He's not even like
Kevin De Bruyne.
He's not even in the same bracket as some of these people I've seen him compared to. And not only that, like he's literally, I think he's won a couple of Portuguese Cups so far, and I think he's about 26, 27. So he's not what he's made out to be yet, is all I'd say. And like we've already touched upon, a lot of his goals are penalties. So
yeah, exactly. You can't compare him to Kevin De Bruyne. I hate it when people do it, because you see what De Bruyne does for Man City. He's just everything. Even though they've got so much quality, and he still stands out.
Yeah.
United haven't got half as much quality as City do, and Fernandes stands out. That's what's so good about De Bruyne. I love him at Liverpool. I've never had
De Bruyne is the best midfielder I've seen in the Premier League since Gerrard, easily.
Yeah, I'd argue he's, and this is a strong statement, I'd say he's just a little bit off prime Gerrard.
No, he's not. No,
yeah,
he's not.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Nah. No one comes close to Steven Gerrard, unfortunately, Chris. Nobody, not one person. Gerrard is
technically the way, obviously not in terms of like leadership, but in terms of being an actual footballer, De Bruyne is ridiculously good.
But Gerrard could do everything.
Yeah, he could. That's the thing I was going to say. Yeah,
he's not there, but he's there for me.
Yeah, that's the key to it. What Matty just said there. Gerrard could do everything. De Bruyne has got all this creativity and technique, and he's brilliant. Like, let's face it. But there's sides to his game that aren't quite there yet. Gerrard didn't have that. Like, Gerrard was the all-round. And we don't really have box-to-box midfielders anymore, so it's quite hard to compare them. But Gerrard was the ultimate centre midfielder, like.
Oh, yeah. I was purely basing on creativity more than actual footballing ability. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end it with. Then we'll go for our score predictions and our goal scorers. We'll start with you, Dan. What do you reckon?
3-1 Liverpool. And let's go Salah, Jota, and Mane off the bench.
And who's scoring the United goal?
Oh, that man, Fernandes.
Penalty?
Probably, yeah.
Right, yeah. Matty?
I'm going to go 4-2, but they're going to get 2 pens, because if you look at who's on the referee and the VAR, they're both from the Manchester area, so we know what's happening there. But I do think we win the game, and I do think it's going to be a good dominant attacking performance. We've seen a few of them this year when we've had to rise to the occasion we have. I reckon Salah's going to get 2, Bobby's going to get 1, and Curtis Jones will get 1 off the bench. Got to back him.
That wasn't predicted at all. No one's coming. I'm going to go for 2-1 to us. I think neither of us will finish very well, even though everyone will have chances. Cavani for them, and Matt Phillips and Salah for us. Matt Phillips is going to score tonight, lads. It's coming. It's coming. Can you imagine Nat Phillips shushing Ollie? Honestly, it'd be so funny.
I like your thinking, Chris. Never happening. Never. Never.
I would love it. Like Nat Phillips and Reece just like doing some sort of like dance in front of them. Oh, maybe inject it into my veins. Thank you very much for coming along to the stream. Cheers to Dan and to Matty. Matty, you back after post match?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
you're still awake?
Yeah, I'm still awake.
Cheers very much, Dan. And I won't be here. I will be. You can think of me as in the gutter this evening, lads. So not a problem. I've got 2 crates of Corona. Life is good. All right.
Enjoy it, lad.
I will do. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We will catch you very soon. Ta-da.